Good morning.
Good morning, Father.
Every 9th of November in the liturgical calendar, the Church celebrates the feast of the dedication of the Basilica of St. John Lateran in Rome. At first, this might seem unusual since the feast honors a building rather than a person or a mystery of faith. You might ask, why this church? What makes it so important? The answer is simple. The Basilica of St. John Lateran is the Pope's cathedral, his official seat as Bishop of Rome. Many people assume that St. Peter's Basilica holds this title because it's larger and more famous. But the true cathedral of the Pope is not St. Peter's Basilica. It is the Basilica of St. John Lateran. Even more, it is also the oldest church in the West and is called the mother and head of all churches, not just in Rome, but across the world. That is why it is so special, because it reminds us of the unity of the Church and how our faith has been passed down for centuries. But here's another important point. The dedication of St. John Lateran is not about building or grand architecture. It's about the living presence of God among His people. Each altar, each space for worship, each gathering of the faithful points to God dwelling with His church. In other words, the Basilica reminds us that the church is built not by human hands alone, but by the faith, prayers, and love of the people who belong to it. That is what this feast has to do with us here at St. Mary's. Our parish may not be the oldest or most famous church in the world or even in Illinois, but it is a sacred place where God's presence is alive. Non-parishioners often notice a unique sense of sacredness when they visit our parish, and it's all because of each one of you, the people of God who make our parish alive. Every Mass, every baptism, every act of service builds up the church, just as the faithful of St. John Lateran laid a foundation that continues to inspire millions today. Think about the little things that happen here every week. A warm greeting in the pews, someone helping a parishioner in need, prayers lifted for the sick and lonely, or someone quietly offering their time and talents to support a ministry. These acts may seem ordinary, but together they create a sacred rhythm, a living and breathing church. It is in these moments that the spirit of St. John Lateran comes alive here in our parish. The faith and love of the people transform building into a home where God dwells, where hope is nurtured, where lives are touched. And so as we celebrate this dedication of St. John Lateran, let it inspire us to see our parish as more than just a building. St. Mary's Church is our spiritual home, where faith is passed from generation to generation, and God's love becomes visible in our lives. Let us recommit ourselves to being living stones in this parish, supporting one another, sharing God's love, and becoming a community where God's presence is felt in every heart, every home, and in the warm, sacred atmosphere that makes our parish community truly a spiritual home. Amen.